how everybody doing out there. I guess we're still having a wonderful trading week, whether you go in break even, whether you went profitable or you went through losses. I still pray that you had a disciplined, committed, positive, and optimistic trading week. This is your boy Harlem, and I'm back with another video. This gonna be our outlook. I'm in my bedroom right now. I don't want to cap a lot. I don't want to say so much shit. I just want to keep shit legit, keep it on the back, and most of all, make it be understandable and simple for someone out there. Financial disclaimer, this ain't financial advice. Everything I say or do is entirely based off of my own experience and my own opinion. It might happen, it might not happen. The only thing we can afford to do is to just stick to what we do and work on what we do and just continue doing what we're doing while we trust the process for me. So looking at the NAS, you can tell that like we did anticipate that like we're looking for either for price to continue to the downside below our major resistance, our major support, our major resistance. So we're looking for price to trade above and continue bullish. So we did have that bullish continuation. Now that like price is trading, now that price is not trading far from previous intraday support, intraday resistance. So I don't have a trade idea at the moment, but all I can say is I'm just simply looking forward for price to either break this, for price to either break the zone, break out, or for price to do what? To fail to break and to reverse, or for price to give it that bear momentum and look for what? For continuations to the downside. I don't have a trade idea at the moment, so I don't want to make things confusing or complicating. I'm just simply looking for price to trade on our previous zones, to either trade above or to trade below, and that will be it. Looking at gold, so you all can tell the structure of gold, it's entirely bullish, right? We can tell the structure of gold is bullish, like we did see on our outlook, that long as price trades above or long as price trades above our major support, then we're looking for continuation to the what? To the upside. So now that I also don't have a trade idea, all I can say is from price pushing and pulling back, pushing and pulling back and pushing. If you can also get a pullback or that exhaustion phase, I anticipate continuations to the upside. But at the same time, there's a previous zone that I laid out. There's this previous highs that I laid out, this high and this high. So if price breaks out of those highs, I would still continue bullish. But if price fails to break, I would look for that intraday wide, for that intraday depletion and that intraday momentum and look for possible reversals, right? But at the same time, I don't have a trade idea on gold. So looking at German 30, so German 30, we can also tell that we did say that price was what? Price was moving sideways. Price was moving sideways until we had a breakout and a retest and a continuation to the downside. So now that we're trading above, our major resistance, our 2022 resistance, right? So what I'm waiting for, all I'll do is, because now we're having multiple rejections from that zone, price is kind of like failing to break, price is failing to break above, price is failing to break below. As long as price is failing to break below, then I'd look forward for reversals to the upside, anticipating the price is creating some sort of support above our major resistance, and we're having multiple rejections indicating that price is failing to break. I might look for reversals to the upside. But at the same time, if price breaks above, but if price breaks below, then we'll simply look for a break, retest, and continue to the downside. So my trade idea is I'm bullish above resistance, I'm bearish below. Long as price is trading above, I would look for reversals. I would look for reversals to the upside. But if we get a break below, then I'd look for continuations to the downside. That's my take on German 30 for the week. So looking at US 30, US 30 is kind of like in a sideways correction from this push. Price is kind of like moving sideways, right? So obviously from a push and a sideways, possibility of price continuing to the downside is very high. But at the same time, from a push and a correction, possibility of price reversing to the upside is very high. So with price moving sideways, the only thing I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for a bullish or bearish breakout, right? So my trade idea is I'm looking for a bullish, for a bearish, or a bullish breakout, and that will be it. If price fails to break on our hourly, then we simply trade support and resistance. And I think like we have enough 500 or 600 pip range. Yeah, it's a 550, 560 pip range. It's enough to trade support and resistance on intraday time frames, right? So my trading idea is I'm looking for bullish or bearish breakout, right? If price fails to break, then I'm simply trading support and resistance, and there will be it, right? That's my take on German daily, on USD. Looking at the CAD, looking at USD CAD. So USD CAD, we did say on our outlook that prices trading above our major resistance. There's a possibility of price continuing to the downside. But if price breaks back in, let's look for retest above. Let's look for retest below to continue to the downside, right? So now looking at current price, there's nothing much that I can say in current price because we're even creating some sort of what, some sort of break wall, right? Indication of what? Indication that live price might be giving us an opportunity to continue to the downside every time we touch the break wall, right? So my trade idea is I'm just simply looking to see if price gets back to the zone. Are we going to break out or are we going to fail to break, right? Our major resistance, right? If we break out, then I continue bullish. But if we fail to break, then we reverse and we turn bearish. And at the same time, I still have this intraday lows, right? This intraday lows marked out. If price gets to this lows and breaks out, boom, then we simply continue moving bearish. But if price comes back right there and fails to break, then I'm looking for that intraday reversal indication of what? Of price creating some sort of support and price failing to break support and reverse to the upside. But my trade idea is I'm simply looking for fail to break of resistance, we reverse bearish. But if price breaks out, then we continue bullish, right? On the hourly, we simply follow our heart in direction. Like I repeat, I'm looking for price to do what? To fail to break, to reverse to the downside, or for price to break and retest to continue moving to the upside, or to break and retest to continue to the downside, or for price to fail to break and reverse to the upside. That will be my trade idea. So looking at Tesla, Tesla does nothing much for me to say, right? Like I did say on my previous outlook that like long as price is trading below our major support, then we might continue moving to the downside. But if we trade above, let's continue to the upside, right? So now there's nothing much for me to say. I can only share my trade idea. My trade idea is I'm bullish above support, bearish below, right? So if price breaks out, boom. So if price breaks out of our resistance, if price breaks out of our major support, wait for retest and continue to the upside. But if price now continues to the downside, then I'll look for price to break those intraday lows, retest, and continue moving to the upside, to the downside, right? So there's nothing much that I can say. I'm just simply looking for what? For price to break out bullish, for price to be bullish below, for price to be bullish above support, to be bearish below support, and that will be it, right? So looking at the crypto, so crypto, we did say that like if price was to break our major that intraday zone, then we continue to the downside. But if price breaks out, we continue bullish, right? So now looking at how price is moving, price is kind of like having some sort of bullish flag, but it don't matter because we trading not far from our major zone, right? Our major zone from the daily time frame. We're trading on that very same zone. So all I can say is now from my trade idea is we if price closes above our resistance, we continue bullish. But if price fails to break, we reverse and be bearish. Like I say, this very same zone. If it happens that like price closes bullish, then we continue bullish. But if price fails to break, then we reverse bearish, right? That will be it. I'm not looking for much. I'm not looking for less. I'm not trying to complicate my trading, but just simply trying to keep it real, keep it legit, and keep it simple. I'm looking for a breakout to continue bullish. For to break, I'm looking to be bearish, and that will be it, right? Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum is trading above our major sell zone, right? So if we're trading above our major sell zone, price needs to continue moving to the upside. So let me just say this. with price breaking out, we need a retest to continue moving bullish, right? So my trade idea is we need a retest of support to continue bullish, right? Like I say, price at a breakout, wait for retest to continue moving to the upside. But if price comes back and breaks back in, we look for retest below and those reversals to the downside. So that's it on German 30. That's it on USD, on Ethereum, right? I'm simply looking for a retest to continue to the upside, or that pullback or that exhaustion phase to continue moving to the upside, right? And that will be it. So looking at Litecoin, because I think I have to live. So Litecoin, there's also nothing that I have to say. I feel like this week there's nothing that we have to do. We just simply need to wait for price to give us confirmations of price breaking out or price failing to break, and that will be it, right? So my trade idea is I'm bearish below resistance, bullish above, because now we're also not trading far from our what, from our major resistance, right? The only thing I'm waiting for is if price fails to break, then I'm looking for reversals to the downside. But if price has a breakout in a retest, we continue moving to the upside. But you can even tell that like we did break out what our bullish channel, right? So obviously with the break of our bullish channel, let me hop to the hourly time frame because that's where the magic happens. So we do have a break of our bullish channel, right? So now with this breakout, with price breaking out with a bear candlestick, with a bear momentum candlestick, all I simply need to do is to just do what is to mark out the zones which price created after it broke out, right? After it broke out, we created this low, we created this high. So now to confirm my continuation trades, I'm simply looking for price to do what? To trade below. I'm simply looking for price to trade below my what? To trade below my major what? My intraday lows, right? But if price trades above my intraday highs, then I take those intraday movements, right? But at the same time, my trade idea is if price fails to break, we reverse to the downside. But if price break out, we'll wait for a retest and continue moving to the upside. And that will be it, right? That's my trade idea on Bitcoin. Last but not least, we have in oil. So oil is kind of like breaking all structures. Oil is breaking structures. Oil is breaking structures. Now that like we're trading above, we're trading on our previous structure. So the only thing that I'm waiting for, because you can tell the like price rejected once, twice, third, fourth, and now we're on the fifth. We're on the fifth candle, which is kind of like fully bearish, right? So all I'm waiting for is if price breaks out, let's wait for retest and continue to the downside. But if price fails to break, then let's simply look for something like this. So my trade idea is I'm bearish below zone, I'm bullish at fail to break. If we break out, I continue bearish. If we fail to break, I reverse and be bullish, and there will be 8 people before me. We on our zone. If price breaks out, then I continue bearish. But if we have a fail to break, then I reverse and be bullish, right? So that's your boy Harlem, right? I'm simply looking for God to give me confirmation this week into me having to buy, me having to sell, me having to confirm my entry, me having to not confirm my entries, or me having to be what? To be positive with every setup that I get. Because price is trading above, price is trading below, price is not giving me clearer confirmations into what I have to do. But all we can manage to do is to just stick to what we need to stick to and just let the rest be history. So the subway